Good morning. We will come to order for today's code enforcement hearing for May 6th, 2026. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3 on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for our meeting on April 1st, 2026. I have reviewed the minutes, and I, as magistrate, approve the minutes. At this point, Madam Secretary, please swear in the staff members who will be testifying this morning.
Michael Jarahan.
Oscar Moreira, Josh Guevara,
Melissa Brubaker,
Lynn Swartzel.
Brian Alves.
Merlane Nimoy.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Yes.
One more. Okay.
Item 5 calls for public comments. If anybody would like to speak at this point during our hearing, it has to do with anything other than what's on the agenda today. If you have any concerns, you'd like to be heard, you have an opportunity. I see no one, then we'll go to the items on the agenda. And that's number 6, and that's the consent agenda. We have 2 items on the consent agenda: a stipulation agreement that was entered into by Muriel v. MVC Marina Properties, LLC, case number 2512116390, and the stipulation agreement with George D. and Deidre K. Sincox, case number 2601115526. I have reviewed those stipulation agreements, and there are terms in those agreements. So in reference to the cases that I just read into the record, I'm going to accept and adopt the consent agenda as submitted by staff. We're going to move to the fine hearings. And just for anybody's information, these cases have already been determined to the fact that a violation did occur. So that's not an issue today. If one of these cases are yours, you've already been found in violation. What we're here today is to determine if I should impose a fine, when I should impose the fine, and the amount of the fine. And what I'd like to hear from anybody who's going to appear during this section of the meeting is tell me what you've done so far to make things better in your situation. You may have not come into compliance, but give me an update, and let's see if you've taken some good faith efforts to alleviate the situation. Case number 1, which is on the agenda, and that's case number CMD 105578. The location of the violation is 350 Denison Drive in Port St. Lucie. The property owner is Pacific Creek LLC, and that case has been closed because there is basically a similar case, item number 2, and that's the one we're going to hear today in terms of imposing a fine. Case number CMD 105579. Location of the violation, 350 Denison Drive, Port St. Lucie. The property owner is Pacific Creek LLC. I believe the investigating officer on this case is Paula Guy, but I believe Josh will be handling this. Just for the record, I'd like to point out this case has been continued from May 3rd, 2023 February 7th, 2024, May 1st, 2024, June 5th, 2024, September 4th, 2024, March 5th, 2025, April 5th, 2025, and November 5th, 2025. So this case is actually 3 years old. All right, is there anybody here to represent Pacific Creek LLC? Please identify yourself and be sworn in.
For the record, Brett Curry with Haley Ward.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you, sir. We're going to first hear from the investigation officer.
Thank you, Mr. Krieger. Good morning. I'm reading on behalf of Officer Guy. For the record, we're resubmitting photos dated September 29th, 2021, March 3rd, 2025, November 3rd, 2025, and one new photo from May 5th, 2026, and an aerial view from the property appraiser of separated parcels and combined parcels. This case was presented during the October 5th, 2022 Code Board meeting, in which the property owner and legal counsel were present. After testimony, the board found the property to be in violation of Section 110500 to obtain a zoning compliance permit for the car business being operated at the property. On January 24th, 2023, a business permit was applied for permit number ZC 2301000158. Original fine hearing was scheduled for May 2023. The fine hearing was continued to the following dates: February 2024, May 2024, June 2024, September 2024, March 5th, 2025, April 2nd, 2025, and November 5th, 2025. At the last fine hearing of November 5th, 2025, another continuation was granted to today's fine hearing of May 6th, 2026. As of today's date, the violation remains, and the business owner or representative are here today to address the special magistrate. We also have the county's business navigator, Thandra Lanise, who's here to provide more details on the progress and the remaining requirements for the zoning compliance.
Thank you. And I know this is a complicated situation, so I want to hear, Mr. Curry, what have you done since I continued this case, 6 months ago?
Yes, sir. So our office, I know this, again, has had a pretty lengthy past history, as staff and you pointed out. We originally got involved about a year ago now, so I've only been involved for a year. Our original proposal was drafted based on what we heard from the property owner, so we drafted a proposal and sent it to them, and they signed it. We did further investigating and determined that the way we were going to do this process was different, so we had to kind of redo a new proposal. So that was in October of last year. On October 29th, we got the second proposal signed, and that was really what signed us up to get going on it. And then we appeared before you on November the 5th. So we've really I've only been working on the project for about 6 months now. We did get, we have submitted the site development permits. There's 2 separate site development permits, since there's 2 separate parcels on this 2 separate parcels, and we are moving through the comments. At this point, we owe the county a resubmittal. We submitted to the county on March 18th, to St. Lucie County, to FDEP, which is for the utilities, and then North St. Lucie, which is for the drainage. We got our staff comments on April 16th from staff, and then we got comments from North St. Lucie on May 5th, and we are in the process of resubmitting. We should be resubmitting in the next 30 days. And this is a complicated piece. 2 separate properties. There's going to be drainage improvements that have to be done, landscape improvements, paving improvements, all of those things, driveway improvements. And so we're just working through those with the client and with the county. I understand this has been going on for a long time. My client is spending money. They have hired me to do the work, and we are moving forward. It's just, as you remember me saying when I sat on this board, there's no such thing as an easy project, and we are moving forward as fast as we can.
I'm curious as to the comments that are outstanding right now. Ms. Lanise?
They're primarily related to working out the engineering on the stormwater drainage and the paving that needs to happen on the back portion of the property. This is primarily in Public Works' hands at this point.
Yeah.
So this is an old site. When it was originally developed, there was no drainage in place. Every new site that gets built in the state of Florida these days has to do improvements to drainage. There's two separate properties here, so we want to set it up to where the properties can function. And so there's going to be shared drainage, which requires easements, shared agreements, everything that goes along with that. So it's, I would say it's complicated, but every project we work on is complicated. So I don't know that it's anything out of the ordinary.
Based on your professional experience, when do you think you could wrap this up?
I know that I sound like a broken record, but I would like to have at least 6 months. I can come back before you in 3 months and give you an update. We're about 30 days out from a resubmittal. We usually give staff about a month or so, another 30 days to review. So that's 60 days right now before we will get, if we do get new comments back from the county. I expect typically we go through 2 rounds of comments, and we've only received 1 round of comments so far. So I think the 6-month window is what I would ask for, but I know, Mr. Krieger, I know you like to see me a lot, so if you want me to come back before then, I can definitely come back before then.
Staff, what are your thoughts with regard to the request for 6 months?
That is probably accurate. I'm hopeful that with 1 round of comments already in place and frankly, Brad's expertise with dealing with this kind of project, that it can be done sooner than that. I know that Ms. Giles is tired of thinking about this as well, so for her interest as well, I'd like to see it wrapped up, but 6 would be acceptable.
As you know, we're here for compliance. We don't want to penalize anybody, fine anybody. If I see a situation where good faith efforts are being made to rectify the situation, and Mr. Curry, I understand the complications involved here, having been here a long time myself. So I'm going to grant the request to continue this case to the special magistrate hearing on November 4th, 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next case on the agenda. Case number 2310-11948. Location of violation. Lot on Orange Avenue and Shin Road in Fort Pierce. The property owner, Gary D. White and Lisa L. White. And just to point out, on the agenda, there's a Scrivener's error with regard to the tax ID, and let me read into the record the proper tax ID. Tax ID number 2307-421-001-0008. All right, the investigating officer here is Merlande Moyes. Is anybody here? Are the Whites here? If so, please come forward and identify yourself and be sworn in.
Gary D. White.
Lisa White.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Good morning. We'll hear from the investigating officer, and then I'd like to hear from both of you. All right, Ms. Moyes.
Yes, for the record, I am resubmitting 3 photos dated November 9, 2023. 1 photo dated October 18, 2023. 1 photo dated October 19, 2023. 1 photo dated January 5th, 2024. 2 photos dated July 2nd, 2024. 3 photos dated August 19th, 2024. 6 photos dated September 30th, 2024. And I am submitting 6 photos dated March 3rd, 2025, and 3 photos dated May 5th, 2025, 6 photos dated April 28, 2026, and 3 photos dated May 4th, 2026. This case was brought before the October 2nd, 2024 Code Board meeting for Section 11.05.00 procedures for obtaining development permits to please obtain a zoning compliance permit for the business on the property. Section 42-103, to please obtain a business tax receipt for the business on the property. A notice of violation was issued on October 19, 2023, with a correction date of November 2nd, 2023. After getting no compliance, a notice to appear was issued on August 19, 2024 for the October 2nd, 2024 Code Board meeting. At the October 2024 Code Board meeting, the owner was present. The board made a decision to continue the case to the March 5th, 2025 Code Board meeting. At the March 5th, 2025 Code Board meeting, the owner was not present. The case was found in default and given a default compliance date of April 4th, 2025. Due to non-compliance, the case went before the May 7th, 2025 Code Board meeting for fine hearing. The owner was present. The board made a decision to continue the case to the May 6th, 2026 fine hearing. Staff has had contact with the owner and representatives for the property. I have had recent contact with one representative on March 26th to confirm the meeting date. As of May 4, 2026, the property does remain in violation.
Who was the representative, Ms. Moyes? Do you know? Could you?
Someone by the name of Caitlin called.
Okay. I'll hear from the Whites. What's going on? Well, it seems like a lot's still going on the property.
Yes, we hired a planner to go through the whole thing, which was like Todd Mallory, and he dropped. What are you asking me?
Just be careful what you say.
The ball got dropped over and over. We ended up getting rid of Todd Mallory, and we have now hired Lucido Group in Stewart.
Lucido Group?
Is that what it's called? Lucido?
Lucido and Associates.
Lucido and Associates?
Another planning firm.
Okay.
And that's,
And they have been in touch with the county. And same thing that the last gentleman just said.
Right.
This is a long process.
I understand that, and it's an old
And
case.
we are trying.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to recommend, to have a professional planner to help you like the previous
We're on
case.
our second one.
Because this stuff, I couldn't do this stuff.
I agree.
You know
There's
what I
no
mean?
way I can do it.
You need to have somebody who really knows all the hoops you have to go through and to what to do properly. Ms. Lanise?
Good morning.
Yes. Tell
So
me what's
yes,
going on.
the Whites are now working with Lucido and Associates. They're working with Stephen over there, not unlike the last case.
Okay.
Long-standing firm in the area, very familiar with the county's requirements. They have asked that we give them a little time so that they can get in. It's a fairly complex project. The Whites have already been through a planned non-residential development process. There were a number of requirements that were made conditions in that approval, so they're now working through those, as well as getting their final site plan and platting for the site so that they can use the site the way they hope to. So it is a lengthy process. Our planning staff is already working with Lucido and Associates to help them sort it all out so that they fully understand what needs to be done. Quite honestly, once they resubmit, they told me that they hope to resubmit within the month. But from there, it's a minimum of 3 months to get through that process. Our development review is currently scheduling about 6 weeks out. And not unlike the last case, it's unusual to get through on one set of comments.
Special Magistrate. Special Magistrate, I also wanted to add that the neighbors are here and would like to speak.
If you look at the aerial, Mr. Krieger, the box that is highlighted in that the picture showing is the neighbors. They're right in the middle of the property, and they're being affected by the operation of the business, and they would like to speak.
Okay, I understand. All right, where are the neighbors? Please come forward, identify yourself, and be sworn in.
Gary Picklesheimer.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
We don't have any problem with anything Gary does over there on his property except for the concrete dust. It contains silica, and we just have concerns about breathing silica dust. I'd like to see that stopped as much as possible.
Right.
When the wind changes, it blows it over to our house, and silica is pretty bad stuff.
You understand that they're taking steps to kind of get this all taken care of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that it's complicated, just like the previous case.
Yes.
So,
I've been in construction my whole career, and yes, it's very difficult.
are there any measures that, Mr. White, that you could take? Please go to the microphone. Just, I mean, to be.
We have recently installed a water supply system to spray the concrete. It actually hooks to the machine and it sprays water on it, so the dust is much less than what it used to be. Yeah. So we are trying our very best to. We spray the pile too. We bring a big water truck there and spray the pile. Try to keep it damp. If you keep it damp, then there's no dust.
Yeah.
But sometimes you hit a spot in there that the water didn't get to, and it is a little dusty.
Okay.
And when it blows towards Gary's house, we try to shut the whole deal down. I've told my operators, if this goes that way, just stop.
Please. Yeah.
I mean, normally our wind is coming right out of the east and going to the west,
Right.
which we're down south of their house a bit, so it goes in a different direction.
Right.
But the wind, especially when you get a storm, the wind changes, we stop.
It has been.
But then it rains and it stops completely.
Yes, it has been much better.
Yeah, and it's gonna rain a lot more now for the next 6 months. We know that. So, as you know, they've already been found in violation, and all we want is compliance here. So for me to impose a fine at this point, I think really makes no sense. No, it doesn't. We should give them some time. We've heard from the business navigator and from the Whites that they've hired a good firm. So if they can get a good firm, we can get this thing resolved. Okay, so what I'm inclined to do is like I did in the previous case, give you 6 months, and let's see what we can do in that time period, all right?
Yes.
And you'll have to come back if it's not resolved and give me an update again, all right?
I thank you very much.
Just go to the mic. Go to the mic. I know we have to record all this.
I don't know that it's going to happen in 6 months.
And I'm not saying it's going to.
They told us 6 months when we started. We're into 3 years.
But that was a different. All right.
Right. So, yes, things happen. So
Okay.
we will come back and deal with it. I mean, hopefully we can get it done in 6 months. I would like to see it done as well.
Okay. All right, any other comments? Okay. Well, then, based on the testimony and everything I heard today from staff and everybody who was kind enough to speak today, I'm going to continue this case number 2310-111-948, to the special magistrate hearing on November 4th, 2026.
November
4th.
4th.
First
Okay.
Wednesday of the month.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Keep me updated.
Well, it's a process,
Thank you.
Care of them.
but hopefully we'll get somewhere with these guys.
Case number 2601-116529. Location of violation is 1099 West Joy Lane in Fort Pierce. The property owner, Doreen Oakley, and I've been informed that this case has abated. So we'll move on. Case number 2503-114710. Location of violation 5470 Southwind Trail in Fort Pierce. Property owners are Sophia Bentley Watkins and Sabrina Bernadette Watkins in Oakland, Florida. Anybody here? All right, well, we're going to hear, because it's a fine hearing, from the investigating officer to see what's going on, and that's Mr. Morera.
Morning, Your Honor. How are you this morning?
I am well. How are you, sir?
Doing great. For the record, I am resubmitting one photo dated March the 19th, 2025, two photos dated March the 26th, 2026, two photos dated April the 28th, 2026, one aerial image obtained from the property appraiser website of the property, and I am submitting two photos dated May the 4th, 2026. This case was brought to the October 6th, 2025 Code Board hearing for Section 38-26, abandoned property, junk, trash, and debris for outside storage. At the October 6, 2025 Code Board hearing, the case was found in violation and scheduled to the May 6, 2026 Code Board fine hearing with a compliance date of April the 1st, 2026. I have remained in contact with the property owner, and as of May the 4th, 2026, the property remains in violation.
Thank you, Mr. Morera. Sir, are you Mr. Watkins?
I am. Good morning.
Please identify yourself and be sworn in.
My name is Paul Watkins, the son of Sophia Watkins.
And where do you reside? Your address?
5470 Southwind Trail. She resides, yes.
Okay. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, you've heard from staff, Mr. Watkins. I'm looking at the pictures. There still seems to be some junk, trash, and debris outside there.
Yes, sir, there still is. Mr. Moe stated the property was vacant. It is not vacant. My mom resides there. There's a home there. On the north side of the property, we have cleared that back, so that side is done. And it's the south side, which is a small part of the south side, which that's the picture that's up there now. It's quite expensive to get someone to come out and just do mulching because we can't afford to pay somebody to cut it down and move it away. It's quite expensive. My mom is on a fixed income, but we have managed to get the south side done completely. Just the north side done completely. We're waiting on trying to get some more funds together to get the south side done.
Is there any residents on the south side there, Mr. Morera, that would see this junk?
I know there's a lot to where the current debris is located. There's a vacant lot. The other side there's a resident on that property.
See on the area.
Yeah, the resident on the south side has no issues with it. There's palmetto trees and there's some trees that the builder cut down and laid down. It's the resident on the north side that made the complaint, but she was the one that told him to put it there. So she made the complaint, and here we are dealing with this now.
How much time do you think it's going to take you to finish this up? It doesn't look that complicated.
Yeah, well, it's quite expensive, and being on a fixed income, she is limited to what she can do. I don't know. I mean, it's throw it up in the wind and see where it lands. I am working with her to try to get someone to come out and do it here in the next couple of months. But to come up with another $1,500, $2,000 for her fixed income.
That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
$1,500, $2,000. Any tax refund coming?
No, she's 80 years old. I wish, right? That would alleviate this problem.
Yeah.
So
can help her out. You know, I'll give you a little time on this to clean it up, but it's like those previous cases, those were complicated cases and everything else. This is just basically getting rid of some junk and some outside of dead vegetation.
And that's all it is. It's just trees. I mean, it's covered up by the overgrow already. So
yeah, but certainly can cause a fire too. You never know with lightning and all of that. Let me see here. Is it 2 to 3 months maybe you do this?
I mean, if that's what you give me.
I mean, I gotta do something with this case, and I want to work with you because we want it done. We don't want to fine you, but I have to put something in here. Staff is recommending a fine to begin in April I'm not going to do that.
I appreciate that.
All right, I'm not, in a maximum fine of 10,000, I don't think I'm going to do that, based on your sincerity and your situation, and that nobody's really complaining that much, but it's got to get done. Let me see here. Today is May 6th, June, July, August 6th. Okay. I'm going to give you 3 months.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So let me read in the motion.
Okay.
In reference to case number 2503-114710, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, that means you know how serious it really is, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation and any previous violations, I make the following determination. A fine of $100 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting August 6th, 2026, with a maximum fine not to exceed $5,000. Okay? So see what you can get done, because if it's not done by August 6th, the fine's going to start running.
Yes,
So you got 3
got it.
months.
Got it.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we'll move on to case number 2511-116210. Location of the violation is the vacant lot X next to 4200 Metzger Road in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Precision Rentals and Investments, LLC. Is anybody here representing? All right. This case, Precision Rentals entered into an affidavit of stipulation on this case, admitting the violations and agreeing to comply with, I'm looking at the stipulation by April 4th, 2026. I signed this order, approved it, and I want to hear from staff. Are they in compliance?
Thank you, Mr. Krieger. For the record, photo submitted taken by Code Officer Paula Guy with an aerial view from the property appraiser's website. This case was observed, violations were observed on November 13th, 2025. Property was cited for section 3.01.03, prohibited outside storage of vegetation debris in light industrial zoning, and section 3826, outside storage of vegetation debris and other items. A notice of violation was issued on November 14th, 2026, with a compliance date, 2025, with a compliance date of December 1st, 2025. After no response from the owner, a notice to appear was scheduled for the hearing of February 4th, 2026. Officer Guy made contact with a worker on site on January 22nd, 2026, and offered a stipulation agreement for the removal of items. As the hearing date was quickly approaching, contact was made with the registered agent and a stipulation agreement was signed prior to the February hearing. The signed agreement provided owner 60 days for correction to be completed by April 4th, 2026. As of today's date, the property remains in violation and no further communication has taken place between the owner or registered agent of Precision Rentals and Investment LLC and staff.
When did staff last communicate with Precision Rentals?
When, according to Ms. Guy's notes, when the stipulation agreement was signed on January 22nd, 2026. And the stipulation agreement that was signed by the registered agent noted that they would be given 60 days until April 4th, 2026 to comply. And they have not done anything.
I understand. This is the first time since we've initiated stipulation agreements, and we've had a case that basically defaulted on it.
Right.
The only concern is notice. You know, and I know I'm thinking out loud, but I'm wondering if we shouldn't, because I can impose the fine beginning April 5th, 2026, that we would send them a notice that we're going to have a fine hearing on this matter, and hear if there were any extenuating circumstances. I know we initiated this to expedite things, but I'm just wondering, I think I have the authority to do that here. Just when somebody doesn't have notice, if you would have talked to them like yesterday or the day before, maybe it'd be a little different. No, I'm thinking out loud. I've had some time to think about this. I think what we're going to do in this case, and probably in the next one, that there's another one on the addendum, I'm going to continue this case and direct that the magistrate secretary send them a letter or a notice like you do for a fine hearing. Normally, you have the fine hearing.
So I'm going to continue this.
Well, we can continue it to the next hearing, I would
Right.
think,
Okay.
to the next fine hearing. So that would be in June. But in the meantime, give them, when you send out the notices for fine hearings, right? What do you do?
Well, if we're gonna hear this in June, I'll just send them a letter of continuance. Because you're not gonna hear this today, you're gonna continue it to be heard at the June 3rd fine hearing, correct?
And they'll be notified that there will be a fine hearing, and you'll put the date and time
Right, so a letter
in
will
there.
go out to them,
And
a
you do-
continuation,
Yeah,
a
okay.
continuance.
Yeah, I think let's do that just to see how that works. If they don't show up, and basically I don't know what they're going to be able to tell me that's going to change my mind about imposing a fine. But I'm inclined to do that just now because the way the stipulation is worded. So what I'm going to do is, and thank you, Josh, for the information on the case, but let's just do this. Let's hear it again next month. And I'm going to continue case 2511-116210 to the special magistrate meeting for a fine hearing. And that date is, I believe, June 3rd, 2026. All right. We'll just do that in abundance of caution to avoid any litigation at this point. I don't see any harm in continuing it right now because the fine could revert still to April 5th, 2026.
Should we, moving forward, Mr. Krieger, send a letter out when we do stipulation agreements stating it's going to be heard at, if it's still in violation, it will be heard at this next hearing, or?
Yeah, I think maybe what we'll do is revise this affidavit. We'll revise this affidavit of stipulation. There's some language that I could put in here and we can put in there that's going to make it very clear that upon any default, we can impose a fine without any notice.
Okay.
And we'll say without notice.
Okay.
All right. And this document doesn't do that, so let's do that
Okay.
in the future. Let's revise that, and we can work on that.
A notice of fine hearing does go out to the stipulation violations. It does.
Oh, okay, so they did get
Because
notice.
when the cases are read in, they have to have an order.
Okay.
Yeah, but the notice of violation, but not the fine.
Well, either way, whether a notice of violation goes out or a notice of fine hearing goes out, a cover letter goes out that states such and such a date you have to be in compliance by. Otherwise, you have to attend the such and such a date hearing.
So they did get one for this one.
Yes,
They
I'm
did
almost
get this
positive,
one.
but if they didn't, I will resend another.
Oh, okay.
And seeing that we're continuing this, I will attach a cover letter with the continuance order.
Okay, yeah, if you're doing that, then I don't see much of a problem.
That's why I wanted to clarify. I wasn't sure how the process was with stipulations. We're sending that letter, but if we are, then they did get notice then.
Yeah, and that's all we're concerned about, but what we're gonna do
Let's continue.
is still, yeah, let's continue it. Because this is the first time we're doing
Right,
this, so
right.
we'll get this streamlined.
Right.
No problem with that. And we're gonna put on some language on this affidavit of stipulation that, a couple of things. You know, they've already agreed to an assessment of $250 per day for each day the violations remain after the compliance date. So they've agreed to that. And then the respondent agrees that the county may impose prosecution costs. I'd like to change that they will impose prosecution costs of $200 as well. And that this fine and prosecution cost can be imposed without further notice.
Right.
We can do that. We can put another sentence or two in here, and then that'll alleviate a lot of the problem.
Yep.
I think. So if anybody came back and said we did something and they didn't know about it,
Right.
well, read what you signed. Okay. Counsel, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a good idea, Your Honor.
Okay, anything else you'd like to add on this? But do you have a copy of that? Take a look at it too, and give any input in the next week or two on how we can do this, so that we can avoid any problems.
We'll workshop it. Thank
Okay, great. Okay, so this has been continued, and we're going to do that with the other one too. There's another one, which I think we'll just do it right now. It's on an addendum. Correct, Madam Secretary, it's the case number 2504-114-929, location of violation, 7211 Elise Circle in Port St. Lucie, property owner Catherine and Matthew Crinian. And the investigating officer is Merlanda Moyes. Ms. Moyes, you've heard our discussion. What do you think?
Yes, I have. I am in agreement with it. Yeah.
Okay, then you don't have to really present your case now
Sounds
at this
good.
point. We'll continue it, and you can present it next month based on the stipulation. But I do have the stipulation in front of me, and it does say that they would comply by May 1st, and they haven't, and that we can impose a fine of $250 per day and may oppose a county prosecution cost. We'll officially do that next month. We'll see what happens, but give them some notice, and then we'll also, so that in reference to case number 2504-114-929, I will continue this case as well to the code enforcement special magistrate hearing of June 3rd, 2026. Okay. Case number 2508-115680, location of violation 10900 South Ocean Drive in Jensen Beach. Property owner is EFTX LLC, located in Jensen Beach. Is the property owner present? I see no one, but we're going to hear from the investigating officer, Mr. Alves.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
For the record, I am resubmitting a total of 7 photos dated 09/04/2025. I am also submitting a total of 3 new photos dated 05/04/2026. 10900 South Ocean Drive was found in violation of 13.09.00 Exterior Property Maintenance Code, Section 304, Exterior Structure. Please have a licensed contractor repair the floor, joists, and trusses. A notice of violation was issued on 09/08/2025. After receiving no compliance, a notice to appear was issued on 09/30/2025 for the 11/05/2025 code enforcement hearing. At the 11/05/2025 code enforcement hearing, a representative was present to represent the property, and the special magistrate continued the case to February 4th code enforcement hearing. At the February 4th code enforcement hearing, the special magistrate gave a compliance date of 04/04/2026, or a $250 daily fine could be imposed. I have had contact with the property representative. The case was abated on 04/14/2026, and a permit was issued on 04/15/2026. The county does not recommend any fines to be imposed.
Okay, thank you for that information. In reference to case number 2508-115-680, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I determine that the violations have been abated and no fine is imposed. Case number 2508-115-532. Location of violation, 5 Islandia Lane in Port St. Lucie. And the property owner is Patty E. Chatham. Ms. Chatham? Yes, please.
Good morning.
Your name, address. Yeah, give your name and address and be sworn in.
My name is Sarah O'Leary. I live at 770 Cypress Street, Port St. Lucie, Florida, 34952.
Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Sarah, my recollection is you were here before?
No.
You
Not
weren't
on
here.
this case.
You weren't here on this case?
But yes, I have been here before.
Yeah, okay. Let's hear from Mr. Alves on this case, and then we'll go forward.
For the record, I am resubmitting a total of 13 photos dated 08/09/2025. I am also submitting a total of 9 new photos dated 05/04/2026. 5 Islandia Lane was found in violation of 13.08.01 Standard Housing Code, Section 309. Pest elimination. Please rid the structure of insects and rodents. 13.08.01 Standard Housing Code, Section 504. Plumbing system and fixtures. Please repair all plumbing to working condition. 13.08.01 Standard Housing Code, Section 308.1. Accumulation of rubbish or garbage. Please remove excess garbage or rubbish from the property. 13.08.01 Standard Housing Code, Section 305, Interior Structure. Please remove the mold or mildew throughout the structure. 13.08.01 Standard Housing Code, Section 305, Interior Structure. Please repair the holes in floors and walls throughout the house. A notice of violation was issued on 08/13/2025. After receiving no compliance, a notice to appear was issued on 01/12/2026 for the 02/04/2026 code enforcement hearing. At the 02/04/2026 code enforcement hearing, a representative was present to represent the property, and the special magistrate gave a compliance date of 04/06/2026, or a $250 daily fine could be imposed. I have had contact with the property owner and property representative. As of 05/04/2026, the property remains in violation. The county has no objection to continuing this case to a further date to allow the Good Samaritan Ministries time to help Ms. Chatham get her residence to a satisfactory state. This Ms. O'Leary is a representative from the Good Samaritan Ministries. She has graciously came on board recently within the last few days to help Ms. Chatham because she is unable to take on this project by herself. And in the last 48 hours, they've done a tremendous job of cleaning the place up. And as you can see from the pictures, they're not
Yes.
finished yet, so they need some more time, but they've done a lot of work in the last 48 hours.
I remember this case. The concern was that Ms. Chatham was living
Yes.
among all that squalor.
So I learned about this case last Tuesday, April 28th, and we were able to get into the property Monday. And between Monday and Tuesday, we emptied the property. We actually were able to get two 20-yard dumpsters donated. We removed everything from the property. It was not salvageable. There was a team of about 15 of us that went in and from ceiling to floor scrubbed everything, threw everything out, shop vacked, ripped up carpets. We had a team of about 5 of our guys go around and replace some of the flooring where you could actually step through it so that it's not a danger to walk around any longer. We have covered up all of the holes from rodents in the walls so that there's no more entry. I do have a plumber who agreed to do services free of charge. They came out on Monday to try to assess the situation. We do have officially one working bathroom. However, we did not feel that it was sufficient enough for Ms. Chatham to reside in the home still, and I'm not willing to refurnish for her until it's safe for her to do so. We were able to get her to come stay with us at one of our homes. She is currently in the hospital receiving much needed medical care as of yesterday, and I also have social services involved to make sure that she is protected. My goal is to bring the home into compliance at a bare minimum. I'm going to be very honest about that because my hope is that she does not return to living in that home. My hope is that social services will get her into a safe environment. But I am going to do my best at bringing the home into compliance so that she does not receive any fines.
You are certainly a good Samaritan. Wow.
We are
you
trying.
and your crew.
Thank you.
Wow. It's wonderful. Really, looking at the pictures, what you've done in a day or two.
It was pretty bad. I've been doing this about 15 years, and this is the worst I've ever seen.
What do you think? Mr. Alvey, do you think we should continue with this? This is what you
I
said?
do, Your Honor. I was lucky enough to meet Ms. O'Leary through a different case, and when I saw what they do and stuff, I brought this up to her attention, and she graciously volunteered to take on this project.
Wow. Okay, how much time?
So that's really, at this point, going to be determined by the plumber.
Yeah.
The issue right now, she has running water. The only place that she has running water is her bathroom, one of her bathrooms. The plumber and I both tried crawling under the house to see where the fixtures are not connected. There is water, the fixtures just aren't connected. Whatever handyman she had in there helping her disconnected everything. And so right now, what the plumber is telling me is that the only way to figure that out is to rip up the entire floor and see where it is disconnected. So we may be looking at a situation where it's probably going to be best to demo the entire mobile home. I just need to find out if that really is the route that we need to go.
Right,
and
I
if that is
understand.
the route we need to go, I need to make sure she has safe housing, which I can provide her. We're just dealing with, I think, some mental health issues that we're trying to get addressed.
Yeah.
So she has no family, no children. She'll be 73 at the end of this month. So I'll take whatever time you'll give us. We're going to do our best to wrap this up.
I'll give you as much time as you want. I mean, I'm telling you, for what you're doing and your group, wow.
So I would be willing to come back here in about 30 days.
I'll give you more time than that.
Well, I'm really just hoping by 30 days we have a more clear direction. My hope is that social services will step in and take over, and that way it will be much easier to deal with the property. I can officially walk into that property without a full suit and a mask on. So we're making good headway.
Well, I can continue it to June hearing, or we can go to July. Maybe July be better.
Whatever you say.
Well, I mean, let's do July.
Okay.
All right, so it takes the pressure off you and Miss Chatham, and she's going through some illness in the hospital. So let's do that. I mean, wow. You know, like I said earlier at the outset of this hearing, it's like, let's see what kind of good faith efforts are being
we're
taken.
trying.
And wow. Yeah, this is good faith efforts. This is based on faith, too, which is wonderful. Okay. Mr. Alves, 60 days?
Yes, sir.
All right, in reference to case number 2508-115532, I, as special magistrate, will continue this case to our hearing on July 1st, 2026.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Case number 2511-116202. Location of violation is 2701 Quail Road in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Leslie Bass, and I've been informed that this case has been abated, so we'll move on. Case number 2504-114865. Location of violation, 4100 Metzger Road in Fort Pierce. The property owner, Michael E. Filoramo, trustee, and Elisa C. Filoramo, trustee, located in Boynton Beach. Anybody here representing the trust or the trustees? Okay. We'll hear from the investigating officer, and that's Ms. Moyes.
Yes, for the record, I am submitting 2 photos taken on April 15, 2025 by Officer Bess. 1 photo taken on August 21st, 2025 by Officer Bess. 1 photo dated October 16, 2025. 2 photos dated November 3rd, 2025. 2 photos dated February 12, 2026. 2 photos dated March 3rd, 2026, and 1 photo dated May 4th, 2026. This case was brought before the March 4th, 2026 Special Magistrate meeting for Section 11.05.00, Procedure for Obtaining Development Permits to please obtain a permit, a zoning compliance permit for the business on the property, Section 11.05.01, Building and Sign Permits to please obtain a permit for the fence. A notice of violation was issued by Officer Bess on April 15, 2025, with a compliance date of April 29, 2025. On January 6, 2026, I issued a notice to appear for the March 4, 2026 Special Magistrate meeting. In addition, a notice to appear was issued and posted on the property on February 12, 2026 for the March 4, 2026 special magistrate meeting. At the March 4, 2026 special magistrate meeting, the owner was not present. The case was found in default and given a default compliance date of April 3, 2026. Zoning compliance number 2510-000571 was filed on October 29, 2025 and is still in review status. Fence permit number FENC-2407-001228 was filed on July 3, 2024 and is still in review status. Staff has had contact with the owner. As of May 4, 2026, the property remains in violation.
Thank you. What's in review? What do we got to get done here?
The fence permit is in review status, but it's awaiting corrections. Comments were sent back in January.
In January
Correct.
of this year.
Yep.
Anything else? That's it on that. Ms. Lanise, have you been working with these people?
We have. They did resubmit last Thursday on their zoning compliance application. However, I do know that it will fail because all of the required items were not resubmitted, including the building department is looking for a life safety plan on the building as part of a change of occupancy. So I know it's not going to pass. Public Works has also reached out to me. They had requested a site use plan that showed that all vehicles were parked on a paved surface. They provided a survey, however, the photos do indicate that they are continuing to park on the grass. So I know it's not going to get through this time.
And they didn't appear. They didn't come. They're aware of this hearing and they didn't come.
And I know that they're aware because I have had communication from them in the last week and a half, maybe even less. They let me know when they resubmit.
And what's this business? A trucking business or what?
They're actually a repossession agency. They do repossessions for Ford Motor Cars. Generally speaking, the vehicles are supposed to be picked up within 24 hours. As you can see from some of the photos, it does appear that some of these vehicles are there for a longer period of time.
Yes.
I'm actually part of the zoning compliance process too. They're not, I'm going to have to fill them for their landscaping as well. But I did receive an email yesterday, and unfortunately they got some bad medical information yesterday. So they are at the doctor's. I just wanted to, that's why they're probably not here.
Well, thank you for that information.
Yeah, I didn't want you to think that they didn't care.
Yeah, well, if nobody shows up, I
Yeah.
kind of am inclined to think that they don't
So,
give a darn.
I just got the email yesterday, so I wanted
Okay,
to.
well, that's certainly important information to know. When was this originally cited again? Refresh my recollection. Ms. Moyes.
A notice of violation was issued by Officer Bess on April 15, 2025, with the compliance date of April 29, 2025.
So it's a year-old case we're looking at here. And they've taken some steps, but it doesn't look like they're going to succeed on those steps, according to Ms. Lanise. Yeah. Are they aware that they're not going to succeed?
I have let them know a number of times that the zoning compliance is not going to get through without the building issues being addressed, the fence being addressed, and the paving being addressed. There are things that we can give them more time for. Paving is not one of them.
Yeah. Well, if they've got a medical issue, I'd really like them to have an opportunity to show up. It's not going to make a difference when we impose the fine. I mean, we can go back to April 4th, of course. But I think courtesy demands that in light of illness, which we all face, that we should continue this case. Any indication, well, we don't know how things will go. let's go 60 days. So I'll continue case number 2504114-865 to the special magistrate hearing on July 1st, 2026. Has there been anybody complaining about this business recently, Ms. Moyes?
Not that I'm aware of. I want to say I don't think so.
Okay. I believe that completes the fine hearings for today, because I already did the addendum. All right, I like to take a little break, so we'll take a 10-minute recess, and then we'll deal with the violation hearings. All right, we'll reconvene. Violation hearings. These hearings, for those who are going to appear, are to determine whether or not you are in violation or not. And we'll hear from staff first. They are the prosecutor, really, frankly, the officers, and they'll tell us what their position is. And if you've been alleged to be in violation, then you're going to have an opportunity to tell me why you're not in violation, or you can admit whether or not you're in violation, or you can cross-examine staff as well. Due process applies here, okay? Everybody has a chance to be heard, and state your case, and then we'll decide whether or not you are in violation or you're not. Okay. Case number 2506, 115-234. Location of the violation. It's a lot. It's a vacant lot east of 3251 St. Lucie Boulevard in Fort Pierce. And the property owner is Hassan Dilmagani.
That's correct, sir.
Sir, please approach. Identify yourself and your address and be sworn in.
My name is Hassan Dilmagani and I'm the owner of the lot.
And your address?
2541 Northwest 39th Street, Boca Raton, Florida.
Thank you. Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do so.
Did you drive up from Boca today?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a long drive.
Okay, yeah. Familiar with the drive, 95?
Turnpike.
Turnpike, yeah. You're doing a lot of construction on that
It
turnpike
is,
now.
it is.
I think it's better sometimes 95.
Actually, I go to Kendall for work.
Okay.
So this one was a breeze.
Okay.
Comparing to the other.
Oh, yeah. All right, the investigating officer is Mr. Morera. We'll hear from Mr. Morera, and then you'll be able to speak as well then.
Thank you.
For the record, I am submitting one photo dated August 26, 2025. Two photos, one obtained from the property appraiser website showing before, and the second one from the St. Lucie Geographical Information website showing the after the vegetation was removed. During my inspection, I found the property located at the lot east of 3251 St. Lucie Boulevard to be in violation of Section 11.05.06, Notice of Vegetation Removal Application. Please obtain a vegetation removal permit. I issued a notice of violation letter on June 18, 2025, and get a compliance date of July 2nd, 2025. After getting a compliance certified notice to appear for the October 1st, 2025, the full board meeting was issued on July 9, 2025. The case was removed from the October 1st, 2025 agenda to provide the property owner with more time to obtain the permit. After no progress was made to obtain the permit, a new notice to appear for the May 6, 2026 was issued and posted March the 17th of 2026. I have made contact with the property owner. As of May 5th, 2026, vegetation permit VRP-2509-005129 is currently in review and pending documentation requested back in September of 2025. As of May 6, 2026, the property remains in violation.
Thank you. Anybody from staff want to tell me what's in review here? What the situation is? What has to be done, or why is it in review? Then I'll hear.
I know one of the requests was an impact report, and he needs to hire an environmental consultant company, and that's one of the requirements, plus something additional too.
And so he cleared that lot? Is that what you're showing me right here? And
No, someone else cleared the lot without his knowledge, Your Magistrate.
Oh. Okay, well, sir, please tell me
Yes.
what the situation is.
I wrote something up. I'm going to read it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I purchased this vacant property in good faith, and at no time I did perform or authorize any vegetation clearing on the land. The clearing in question occurred when my neighbor mistakenly crossed into my property while clearing his own lot. As soon as I became aware of the situation, I fully cooperated with the county and all the relevant agencies. The South Florida Water Management District inspected the property and determined that no enforcement action was necessary, and they are working to close the case. I have a letter from Mr. Delgado from South Florida Water Management Agency. Given that I did not cause the violation, had no intent to violate any regulations, and have acted a good faith throughout, I respectfully request that the case to be dismissed. Alternatively, I ask the court to relieve from the requirement to obtain a costly environmental report, as it would impose a significant financial burden for a condition that I did not cause or create.
Thank you.
I would like to be in compliance. Whatever it takes.
Yes.
Ready? So the environmental impact report is also because of the gopher tortoises and stuff like that. It's not just for DEP or for, because there's a lot of different species. There's, unfortunately, there's Florida scrub jay, stuff like that. I'm sure we could work with him with that. Holly is the officer that requested that. Have you submitted that?
I submitted a permit request.
No, did you submit the what you just handed Mr. Krieger? Did you submit that to Holly?
No, I have not.
Okay, so I can give that to Holly, or I can give her a copy, because.
Yeah, give her a copy, and this goes into the record.
You can have it. It's on my email.
Yeah, it's in your phone. You can
Okay,
print another one. Yeah.
So we can give that to Holly, and she can put that in the file, but unfortunately, vegetation was removed that was native vegetation, and it has to be restored because it's native, and that's why you need to hire someone to see what native vegetation was removed, because it needs to be replaced.
Is that a residential lot?
It's a commercial property.
It's a commercial
I
property?
believe it's considered residential.
What are you planning to do with that property?
To be honest with you, I bought it when my daughter was born back in 2000.
How long ago?
2004, I believe, I bought it. I
Okay.
purchased it. And to be honest with you, I just, because one of my friends was suggesting that, cluelessly, I just went there and I just bought the land because I had a few dollars in my hand.
Yeah.
For my daughter, which I regret today, by the way. But then I never heard anything about it. I even didn't realize where it was till I received a call from Mr. Morera, and that's when I decided to drive and see what I have, why I'm in violations, and so on and so forth. So right now, actually, to be honest with you, Your Honor, I'm looking to sell it.
Yeah.
And the same guy who cleared the land, Mr. Solomon, he has a trucking company, and
Yes.
he's a huge land. He gave me an offer, a very lowball offer, to purchase my land. I have to figure out what I'm going to do. So,
Yeah, Mr. Solomon, he's been there many times, and he cleared that lot.
He cleared that lot. Actually,
We don't know. I mean,
Well, I know you don't know,
We
but-
can't say that.
But he's
unfortunately.
testified. How do you know that he cleared that lot?
He told
Did
me that
he
himself.
admitted it?
Yes. No. I made the appointment with him. We both went there, and he showed me exactly where his line ends and my line starts. And he goes, look, the guy who was clearing this, he lost the stakes through the survey, and he just, a portion of the blade scraped your land. It's not like he cleared my entire land, just maybe just a few feet. I don't have the exact survey on that.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
He didn't clear the entire land, it's just...
Just maybe a bulldozer blade or something like that.
And who complained about this? Does anybody know? Mo?
The case was referred to us by the Environmental Resources Department, Your Magistrate.
The area, the reason why it was a complaint through I believe engineering, because they had to do something over there, so it came to us and then we referred it to code enforcement. The reason being is this is heavily vegetated, it's heavily occupied by Florida scrub jay, which is very, I know that you know that it's very, they're endangered, and it's also good for tourist habitat. So to bring all that stuff in, and he had all those trucks there, he had everything there, it's devastating to the natural habitat. So that's why that happened. Now, obviously, we all know that the owner of the property is responsible, but he can also have Mr. Solomon put in those permits for him as the agent. And he could work that out with him, and Mr. Solomon can do it as the agent and take over that burden for him. But
If he bought the property,
yeah,
too.
well, not even, yeah, if he bought the property or as his agent, he could do that. He could give him those rights as the agent to do that permit, but the permit has to be
But he
done.
would, you know, is,
Ultimately, yes, it is his responsibility.
I understand
But
that,
Mr.
of
Solomon
course.
can pay for
but it's a
for
lot
it
of
too.
money to have to do something that he didn't cause.
Correct.
If you talk to a lawyer,
The whole thing is the money. So yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? To talk with Mr. Solomon,
I spoke to Mr. Solomon, and he basically offered me $25,000 to buy my piece of land.
and
Says-
he would take it with,
And then, well, actually, I have two land. One is that one, and then one is is a residential on the other side. So I'm, to be honest with you, willing to make this a package and just give it to him. I mean, sell it to him. I
right.
mean,
But you have to negotiate a fair price.
correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
and we'll give you some time to negotiate a fair price. That seems to me to be probably the easiest way out of this for you.
To be honest with you, I definitely want to get out of this because.
Because he could have some legal liability too, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, you should negotiate with him.
I know. I'm just trying to be in compliance. I'm trying to.
I know you are.
Get rid of it, and.
I believe you. And your testimony, I do believe you. And that's all I can weigh is testimony. And
Right.
I think you're
Definitely,
testifying
I'm-
under oath, and you're telling me the situation.
I appreciate that. I'm going to talk to him, see if he can purchase my land. I mean,
Yeah.
this is one of the options because even though somebody is telling me that it's a lot more than that, but at this point, to be honest with you, I mean,
Yeah, and if he bought it and he's under the understanding that there's an issue here, then
all right.
he'll take it, buyer beware, he'll take it with any possibility of being found in violation.
I mean, he has already been into violation, I believe, clearing his own land,
Well,
which is a few acres.
You know, I'm going to talk about other
So,
cases, but we're
this is
we're
just-
familiar. We're familiar with.
Okay.
We're familiar with
Yeah.
Mr. Solomon.
Actually, when I was talking to him, but yeah, I mean, that's the way he is. So
Yeah, how much time do you think you need maybe to negotiate with him?
I have never done this type of work. I can call him and negotiate
You
with
could do that, and I don't want to tell you what to do. I can't. That's not my job. But
No, I will
you
do
could
that.
always hire an attorney to deal with him and negotiate with him. That might spur things on. You know, sometimes it does, and you might find a good attorney who can just contact him and tell him what you want.
I can go that route. I mean, really, to be honest with you,
I think it
since
might
I've
be
never been
worthwhile.
in
The lawyer might not cost that much money on that.
I've never been in the courtroom, so.
What's that?
I said I've never been in the courtroom.
We're not talking about even going to the court.
I know, so I don't know exactly how much it costs.
You know,
because
just to
all the-
negotiate for you. Get a negotiator.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. I mean,
You know, you get an appraisal and go. I mean, I can't be giving you legal advice here, but I think there's a way to work this out.
I am trying to basically sell the land,
know
and some people they have been. Well, everybody seems to people that they acquire land. I mean, somebody was basically telling me that he's going to give me $900 and he will take all the past due taxes and stuff like that. I said, "There's no past due taxes. I mean, I pay taxes every year,
Yeah.
and $1,900 I just donate it if I want to do that." So this type of requests I'm getting, but I have not really I haven't been trying to sell the land. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and market my land to see how much I can really get for it, and then I will talk to a lawyer, maybe to, that's but like a second plan, talk to a lawyer to see if she can talk to Mr. Solomon to see what we can do. And last resort would be just talk to Mr. Solomon and just sell it to him. If that doesn't work, then I just need guidance. What do I need to do to be compliance, not being
Right, well,
fined?
it's a big deal to get in compliance, right?
Yeah, it's like,
You would need to.
How much money we're
replan.
talking about, basically?
The big thing would be, he would have to revegetate what was there. So basically, you would have to go out and assess what was there and then replant.
actually, they were telling me, the water management was telling me that the vegetation is regrowing. If you just leave it alone, it regrows. I said, okay. So, I mean, that's something that they told me that I have no idea what it really means.
Yeah, I mean, we would have to go, we could probably go out there and look at it again. Holly and I could go out there and look at it again, see how it's growing. But they want, per supervision, they want him to revegetate.
Yeah.
And actually, when I went there to look at it, I mean, the it was tall enough that I was afraid to walk through it after I saw a snake there too. So it is growing back.
Okay.
Because a lot of it would be non-native at this point because it's weeds. So they
Yeah.
want the native back.
Yeah, I know how that works. There's a gentleman raising his hand. Are you related to this case?
I'm not, but he could call Drew Gatewood and he would help him.
It's a consultant. We can
You
give him
well,
a list.
You can talk afterwards.
Yeah, we
With
give
him, I
lists. We
can't-
just can't give.
Yeah,
names.
you can't certainly, the county can't recommend who you might talk to and
I
everything
know
else.
that.
All right, I'm going to give you some time. I mean, I believe you didn't cause this problem, and I think you can resolve it by getting rid of the property if you can't come into compliance. But, you'll have to figure out the economics on that.
Okay.
Even maybe hiring a consultant and getting it taken care of, as opposed to giving away the property, basically, because it's probably worth a lot more than it's being offered, so you want to make sure. I mean, I'm just speculating. You're a smart businessman. You'll know what you're going to do, right?
I'll try my best, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yeah, let's give you some time. Nobody's complaining about this. We don't have anybody complaining. So, but I want you to, I mean, I could find you in violation right now and give you some time that way. Or I could continue it, and I'm inclined to continue it. But I want to know within 3 months what you've done. If it isn't resolved, then I'm going to have to probably find you in violation. Not necessarily fine you right away, but fine you.
Definitely. I mean, I have been in touch with Mr. Morero. I don't know who I can talk to and
You
update
really have
them.
to be in touch with Mr. Morero.
I mean, he
He's
was
the
the
man.
one who sent me the letter, and then
He's the investigating officer, so,
Yeah.
right, Mr. Morero?
That's fine. Your magistrate, I can definitely guide him as to what he needs, as long as he wants to get it abated, or if he wants to sell it, you just got to keep me in.
You got to keep you in the loop.
Correct.
What you're doing. That's the whole thing. We want to make sure you're making a good faith effort to resolve this situation.
No problem, sir.
So that's why we're going to, it'll almost be like a status report. But if nothing's been done in three months, if you come in
No,
here and say,
definitely.
well, I haven't gotten around to it or that, then I'm not going to be so kind.
Okay, no, I understand. I agree with you. No, believe me, I really want to get rid of this land as soon as I can because I'm trying to retire and actually move away from Florida. So
Okay. All right.
that needs to be finalized, hopefully.
All right. In reference to case number 2506-115-234, I'll continue this violation hearing to the special magistrate hearing on August 5th, 2026.
So by August 5th, what is my responsibility to just let you know?
Well, you'll have to show up again. If
Okay.
you don't have it resolved, if Mr. Marrero tells you it's not abated, you'll have to talk with him.
Okay.
Then you have to be here.
Okay.
Okay, so that's your notice. And then you got to tell me what you've been doing.
Okay.
And I'd rather hear from you than anybody.
No
Okay,
problem.
because you're the property owner. So if you tell me, oh, I've got a contract with Mr. Solomon or something, bring the contract. You know what I'm saying? You know, show me
Absolutely.
I got a contract with Mr. Relman, or we've closed on it, I sold the property. Just show me what you've done.
I got you.
Or you talk to an engineer, you know, and then, and I'm doing this instead. I'm gonna mitigate the situation. So, just bring me something.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And can I get the information of the engineer? I mean, you're the engineer?
Yeah, you guys talked outside after this case, so I've continued this, right?
Sure.
All right, this is continued to August 5th, 2026. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much,
Safe
sir.
travels back south.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Okay.
it. Thank you.
Case number 2512-116411. Location of violation 2481 Johnstown Road in Fort Pierce. The property owner is J&J Lawn and Landscape LLC. Is there anybody here? Yes, please come forward.
Hi.
Good morning. State your name and address, please.
Carrie Kendall, 747 Carlisle Way, Fort Pierce, Florida, 34947.
Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Kindle. We'll hear from the investigating officer, then I'd like to hear from you, and that's Mr. Marrera again.
For the record, I am submitting one photo dated December the 17th, 2025, one photo dated January the 20th, 2026, one photo dated January the 28th, 2026, three photos dated May the 4th, 2026, two aerial photos, one from the property appraiser website and one from the St. Lucie County Geographical Information System website. During my inspection, I found the property located at 2481 Johnston Road to be in violation of Section 38-26, abandoned property, junk, trash, and debris, outside storage. I issued a letter on January the 5th, 2026, and gave a compliance date of January the 20th, 2026. To gain a compliance certified notice to appear for the May 6, 2026 Court Board meeting was issued and posted on January the 28th, 2026. I have remained in contact with the owner, and as of May 4, 2026, the property remains in violation.
Thank you. Ms. Kindle.
Yes. So, I'm sorry, I was trying to understand what you're saying. So what exactly is this violation for?
For the dead vegetation on the property,
Okay.
The picture's what he's showing right there. See those palm fronds?
Yeah.
You have to remove all that.
Okay, so as far as I know, there's a burn permit for this, but they said we've been in a drought and we have to wait for approval to burn it. That's the last that I heard from that.
How long ago was that?
I believe Joseph, he couldn't be here today, but he reached out to them either earlier this week or late last week, and they were going to come back out and take a look at the piles and let us know.
That's the only way to deal with this, is burning it? You can
I
haul it away.
Could remove it. It's been cited since January 5th of 2026, Mr. Krieger.
So
It's May.
5 months. 5 months.
January 5th. I believe he's been trying to burn this for, it has been a while. And that's him, but it has been a while. And I'm not sure, I'm not in contact with the people with the burn permit. I just know that he's been waiting on the okay for them for a while.
Okay. Staff is recommending being found in violation.
Yes, Special Magistrate.
Little time. Gonna have to get going on this somehow, some way, if you can't get it burned. It's been raining. I don't know if they're issuing permits now or anything, but you're gonna have to get it out of there. 5 months, 6 months. I'll give you a little time
Okay.
to get it out of there.
I will let him know that if the burn permit doesn't come through within the time frame, that he has to just remove it.
Yeah, he's going to have to, or I may have to impose a fine. And you heard me, I don't want to impose fines if I don't
understand.
have to. I want compliance. The whole county wants compliance. And this does pose a danger. There's a lot of it there.
I understand.
You know what I mean? So, let me look here. Today's the 6th, July 6th. Looking at compliance date like of 60 days would be July 6th. That work for inspection? Yeah. Okay. In reference to case number 2512116411, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I determine that the violation in fact did occur and the alleged violator committed the violation. An order of enforcement is warranted. If the order of enforcement is not complied with by July 6th, 2026, a fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. Staff is recommending the cost of $200 is being imposed as the cost for prosecuting this case. Please take note that on the first Wednesday of the month, after the date given for compliance at 9 a.m. or soon thereafter as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violation is not abated by the given compliance date. So if you haven't complied, then in August I'll be imposing a fine.
Okay.
Okay? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Case number 2510116029. Location of violation is 299 Monarch Lane in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Rouse Fort Pierce LLC, Bogart Place Properties LLC, and Greystone Debt Acquisitions LLC in Cape Canaveral. This case has been removed for reciting purposes. Case number 2602-116647. Location of violation 229 East Arbor Avenue in Port St. Lucie. The property owner is Barry Flip LLC. All right, sir, please identify yourself.
Name and address, please.
2397 Southeast.
Speak into the mic.
2397 Southeast Anesia Street, Port St. Lucie, Florida.
And your name?
Rainer Lobon.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. You affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
All right, sir, we're going to hear from the investigating officer, Josh Guevara, and then you'll have an opportunity to tell me what's going on.
Thank you, Mr. Krieger. For the record, I'm submitting 5 photos, 3 dated February 17, 2026, 1 dated April 28, 2026, and 1 dated May 4th, 2026. 229 East Arbor Avenue was found in violation of Section 110501, an unpermitted fence. A notice of violation letter was issued on February 17, 2026, and a notice to appear letter was issued on April 2nd, 2026 for the Code Board hearing of today's date, May 6, 2026. As of today's date, the property remains in violation. I've had contact with the property owner via email in the past. No permit has been applied for, and today I spoke to the gentleman who's present. He's a property manager, And he stated that it took them a couple months to get a survey, but they have finally gotten the survey and they will be submitting for permits as soon as the hearing is over. He's here to request more time.
Sir, what do you want to say? Do you want to add anything to what Mr. Guevara said? Speak into the microphone, please.
There is a language barrier, which I just found out this morning. So the property manager stated what I just stated. He has a survey finally, and they're going downstairs to submit as soon as the hearing is over. He would like just more time in order to be able to submit for that permit. I did ask why the fence was put up without permits. He stated that it was a quick move. They have children, and they were trying to get the house fenced, and they did it. He does admit they did it without permits, but that was the reason they did it.
Okay. All right. There's only been a few months on this case, huh? Yeah.
I don't have a problem with
You want
giving
to
them.
continue, or we can, or just give a date certain for motion for violation hearing?
I would give a date cert. It is a LLC that owns the property.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if he has everything here, he should be able to get the permit.
Yeah, so we can give a little time in the thing. Okay. All right.
Okay, thank
You're
you.
in agreement? Well, let me finish up on the case. I have to make a motion. Yeah, we'll do a little longer than the default date.
I know I'm not allowed to translate for him. He did request the fee, if it could be waived.
The prosecution cost?
Yeah, that's left up to you, Mr. Krieger.
Yeah,
Your discretion, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that anyway.
Good.
Okay. All right, let's do this. In reference to case number 2602-116647, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I determine that the violation in fact did occur, and the alleged violator committed the violation. An order of enforcement is warranted. If the order of enforcement is not complied with by June 15th, 2026, a fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. Please take notice that on the first Wednesday of the month after the date given for compliance at 9 a.m. or soon thereafter as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violation is not abated by the given compliance date. All right, sir, so you have to June 15th to get that fence permit, and everything can go away.
Okay.
All right.
That's it. Thank you.
You're done. Case number 2602-116700. Give me a second. Location of violation 6009 Myrtle Drive in Fort Pierce. The property owners are John E. and Maria E. Covarrubias. Anybody here? Okay. And we can move on that case and go to the next one. Case number 2603-116828. Location of violation 5506 Palmetto Drive in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Warren S. and Sonia Corbett II.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please state your name and address.
Warren Corbett, 5506 Palmetto Drive.
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Corbett. We'll hear from the investigating officer, and then you'll have an opportunity to tell us what's going on. All right, Mr. Guevara, you're up again.
Yes, sir. Thank you. For the record, I am submitting 8 photos, 6 dated October 17, 2025. that were taken by St. Lucie County's Water Quality Department, and 2 dated May 4th, 2026. 5506 Palmetto Drive was found in violation of Section 7.07.00 for a failed culvert pipe. A notice of violation letter was issued by St. Lucie County's Water Quality Department on January 14th, 2026. After receiving no compliance, the property was referred to code enforcement, and a notice of violation letter was issued by code enforcement on March 13th, 2026. A notice to appear letter was then issued on April 2nd, 2026 for the code board hearing of May 6, 2026. As of today's date, the property remains in violation, and I've had no contact with the property owner. We also have staff, Mr. Brown from St. Lucie County's Water Quality Department, for any questions regarding the culvert.
Thank you. Mr. Corbett?
Yes, sir.
You're up.
Okay. I don't know what you need to know from me. The only thing I've ever received was this posted thing, which was 4/2/26. I have never received a letter from them.
It was posted?
Yeah, it was posted at the front yard. It's got staple marks in it where it was stapled to a stick.
Under the law, they
my
can
gate.
post the property. They
Yeah,
can
that's,
post the property.
that's the only notification
Well,
I've
that's-
got.
That's the notice. Right.
Yeah, we
But
did.
it says I was certified mail came to me, and I have not received any certified mail.
Nothing, you didn't sign for it, right?
So, yeah, our process is we issue the notice of violation, regular mail, the notice to appear, certified mail. If we don't get the signature, then we have to post on site, which is what we did on April 2nd. We never heard from the property owner from the April 2nd date till today. He never called, he's never communicated with, at least with myself.
Okay. Well, you follow the law, and you're here. So,
Yep,
I
I'm
mean,
here.
you've got notice, you're here, you knew to be here, so we have to deal with the issue of the culvert. I'm looking at pictures that don't look good.
No, they don't look good. They do not.
Yeah. So
One
you're
of
gonna have to-
one of the county trucks backed into my driveway and did that. And when they blew the culvert out, apparently there's another hole that's like 6 or 7 foot from the edge there that you can see. And when I walked out there after they had blew it out, I fell into it and went up to my knee.
When did that happen, allegedly?
That happened whenever I talked to one of the supervisors out there, because I told the man where the problem was, because it was my culvert had that at the end where the truck had run over it, backed into it. It was a dump truck from the county, and that was done about 3 years ago. My next door neighbor, which is just to the north of me, hers was completely crushed. She had concrete, and then their large van, Winnebago or whatever it's like that, crushed it completely. So that's where all the water was stopping. I was always digging out the edge here to let the water flow. And I talked to the supervisor because he was down at the south end of my street, or my block, I should say, at 55, that area. And I told him where the problem was, because I was out walking my dog. I walk my dog every day. And I know that I had this problem at the edge, but apparently the thing was sitting for years, because the one north of me was done probably 3 years previous to that. Sorry, I've had a brain injury, so I'm a little slow at times. And I've had that since, I've been disabled since July of 2000. And I've lived in this house for 42 and a half years.
That's the original culvert?
Yeah, as far as I can tell, because the house was probably 7 years old or so when we bought it. So yeah, I understand it needs to be done. I know that there was already money put in to do all of the streets in Indian River Estates. 2 of the sections got done. The 3rd section, apparently they ran out of money and canceled it, or otherwise it would already be done. I'm still sitting with a When we originally bought the house, we came in here and talked to them and asked them when the roads would be put in, because all we had was graded rock in front of that property. And they said it would be 3 to 5 years. Well, we're looking at 42 years now, and the only thing we have is millings on our graded road that has millings, which is terrible. I've never had where my kids could ride their bikes up and down the road. They can't do it now. My grandkids can't do it. And the way I understood it from talking to the supervisor that I talked with, that I went down to my house and showed him where mine was messed up and where the neighbors was. And he says, you know, I got to report this. And I said, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. My problem is, why has it not been fixed before this? And I asked him, what is the process of the water? How's it supposed to flow? And he told me that it's supposed to go from the middle of our street to the north and to the south, and then feed across the roads, and then go to the east, or west, I'm sorry. So my contingency is, if I am in the middle of the street, or the block, do I even need a culvert? Because it's supposed to flow from the middle out to each end, then it goes to the back of the lots, then goes across the street, and then goes to the west. So my contingency is, when is mine going to be done? You know, when's the street going to be done? When are they going to put and do it? Because they're doing culverts different ways. Some culverts are being replaced. Others, they put pipes down the whole street, and then they've got, I don't know what you call them, but a box where the water fills in the middle of the lot, and then it flows. So, you know, because I've been watching this for, I don't know, I want to say 8 or 10 years, where they were doing the different streets, because I was always going to the back of the neighborhood because my mom lived back there. And so I've seen what's been done there, but there's been nothing done, you know, for our property. And in fact, when I talked to the supervisor that day, which is probably right around the first of the year, you know, he just said they flat ran out of money, but that's how he said the water should flow. So to me, I can, if this road's going to be done in several years, I don't have a problem patching it, or, you know, making it where the water's not going through, because it was one of your trucks that backed into my driveway. And all I knew was that this piece you could see. I didn't find out the other hole until I stepped in it after they had blown it out. But I know the water wasn't traveling, but all the water was always traveling from the south to the north, and then would go out and around. But he said that's not the way it's supposed to be. Because our culverts, if you walk down our road, they're up and down. There's no consistency in, you know, or it's not flowing the proper way.
Mr. Rivera, could I just see all the photos again, whatever you got there? I'm just curious. Take it slow for me. Yeah, just all right. That's today, basically. That's today. That was in October of last year.
No,
It was October of last year, and that's the end of the culvert?
Yeah, that's the end of the culvert.
Is that right there? Is that?
Yes, sir. That's the other end of the
That's the
culvert.
other end.
My culvert has always been 2 to 3 foot below where the bed of the dirt is, you know, that runs across the front of the yard. And I always had to dig it out. When we moved in, we had to always dig it out, you know, to come in, you know, so the water would flow through there. Well, since then, I can show you a picture where, if you see where that hole is, where the end of the pipe, there's the other hole that I was talking about that I fell into was, I would say, 6.5 foot from that piece, which was where that truck backed out because they were delivering dirt into my neighbor's yard when they were doing work in the back. And it was a St. Lucie County truck.
Yes, I'd like to hear from Public Works.
Public Works wasn't sworn in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's okay. Just please state your name.
Brian Brown.
Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, sir. Mr. Brown, you're up.
As far as Public Works, they would not have been working in somebody's yard, so I don't believe, I don't want to say it wasn't, but they would not have been doing work on private property with a dump truck. As far as the pipe, the hole in the top of the driveway, what we did was try and alleviate the problem by going in and clearing the pipe so that it was not holding water. When the vac truck went in and jetted the water through the pipe, it obviously, there was a hole in the pipe and it blew a hole up through the driveway. So that's why, I hope you didn't hurt yourself.
No,
when you fell.
I'm fine. It
But
twisted-
that's
it
why
twisted a little bit, but
that's
I
why
was okay.
the hole would have popped up in the center of the driveway. It's because the pipe has failed. As far as being the high point on the street, county engineers have always said to us, I do the driveway permits for the failed culverts. And even if you are the high point on the street, they want to keep the culvert in place. So if there's a blockage to the south, the water will go north. If there's vice versa, they don't want a dead end on the street. So that's why even at the high point on most of the streets, there's always a culvert. And this one has obviously failed very badly, and it's only going to get worse. It's eventually going to, the water flowing through the pipe is going to keep eroding away that dirt, and the driveway is going to collapse, and then somebody may get hurt.
Yeah, it's an old culvert.
Yeah, 40 some years is
Yeah.
way over the life expectancy. It's great that it's lasted that long.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I disagree with why it's not fixed already. The whole road
Yeah.
and the culverts. They've done everything to, in fact, the day that we talked, they were still digging 2 streets to the east of me and doing the drainage.
We're doing swale maintenance in that neighborhood,
Yep.
and we are working from the east to the west. I think we got as far as Seagrape this year, and we'll be continuing coming that way. So eventually the swale maintenance will be done, but we don't replace the pipes
Yeah,
when
you
we go
haven't
through.
been replacing
No,
culverts.
we do
so
not
in that
replace the
work, they're
pipes.
not
It's the
replacing
responsibility of the homeowner.
Yeah, that's the way it's been.
In those roads where the pipes are in completely, they're not doing it?
Well, where there's drainage underground, the catch basins and everything, where they do swale maintenance
what's
there,
gonna
but
be
there's
done to
no,
my
there's,
street?
well, you don't have catch basins. There's no piped in drainage there yet. It may be at the
Well,
corner.
There's nothing been done in over
No,
40
I understand
years.
that.
Yeah.
But that's,
But that was something just put in recently.
no, not most of that, the pump station and all that work has been, well, I've been with the county for 10 years, and it's long before then that it was installed.
Okay, well, there's more than one street done that way, correct?
Oh, there is more than one that drained into the pump station
Yeah,
system,
but
yes.
I mean, I still don't even have a road,
No, I understand.
you know?
And
And,
that's-
you know, I had to deal with all the time going and pulling people out of the middle of the road every time it rained. Because you could not go from my house south and go out Easy Street. I mean, that's how long I've lived. And, you know, the grading guy that worked there, he did a great job all those years. But like I say, I would have never bought that property 42 years ago if I would have known the road wasn't going to be put in this long. I mean, you know, they told us 3 to 7 years, you know, they would have it done. Well, they come in and did Buchanan, and they did 1 cross street, but there's 3 roads that have never been done. Now all we've got is millings. And they decay, they're out there all the time patching the road from where it falls apart. But I'm not arguing at that point.
understand.
I understand my culvert should be done.
Yeah. and-
The only thing I'm asking is, if I'm in the center of the road and it feeds both ways, that's the way it's supposed to feed, does my property really need a culvert?
Well, the
And-
professional engineers are saying yes.
Yes.
Who's the professional engineer?
I'm not the engineer, the county engineer. When I do a driveway permit, I submit it to the county engineer for approval. They give it back to me and they tell me
Right,
what
but
they want.
that process has of course changed in the 40 years.
Oh, I'm sure it has, yes.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
since-
I
since
don't know
since
what
I've
it
been
was
there and
before.
what's
I've been
been
doing
done.
this for 2 years now, the permits. So, yeah, I don't know about that.
Special
I mean,
magistrate.
I could put 4x4s or whatever in there, open it up and put a pad over top of it and not even mess with it.
But that would block drainage.
How would that block drainage?
I have the
It's
letter.
going completely under.
Mr. Krieger, I have the letter that was issued by Dan Strajak. He's the county engineer. on
Please
January
read it
14th. It says, to Mr. Warren Colbert II and Ms. Sonia J. Colbert, 5506 Palmetto Drive, pursuant to section 7.0708, failure to maintain stormwater management system of St. Lucie County's Land Development Code, you are hereby notified the following violation exists on the property identified above. Surface water management system has been allowed to deteriorate into a health hazard caused by unmaintained drainage. The county's ongoing research has disclosed the following. The driveway culvert pipe has failed, thus potentially blocking the county's drainage infrastructure. Based on the above, the public's health, welfare, and safety are at risk. Please resolve the issue within 30 days. Failure to take such corrective action within 30 days shall constitute a violation of the previously mentioned code section and is subject to enforcement procedures. If your code violation involves the failure of a driveway culvert and you need financial assistance to replace it, please contact the county's Water Quality Division at 772-462-1435, extension 3, to receive more information about the county's new Culvert Assistance Program. Information about the Culvert Assistance Program can be found on the county's website as well, and is signed by the county engineer.
Thank you.
And I understood that.
Right. And I get a lot of these cases. We're getting a lot of it, and unfortunately, the code is the code.
Right.
And you're going to have to, I mean, from what I see, you're going to have to, the responsibility is for you to replace the culvert.
I'm just asking if there's any other options,
Well,
because, like I say, it was a county truck. I have the picture of it probably on my older phone. I looked on my new phone and my iPad, and I don't have that because it certainly said St. Lucie County on it. And it was right in where that spot is. That's where his left rear tire was.
But it looks
so the
like-
right rear tire had to be in the middle of my driveway.
And I get that, but it's a very old culvert, and we don't looking at it, it's deteriorating. It's going to have to be replaced at some point.
Right, I understand that, but
So
am I
what-
responsible for
well,
that when it was
yes.
one of the county's trucks?
Well,
that
we
did
don't
it?
know that. We don't know
I
that
know
for
that,
sure.
and I was going to give you a affidavit of truth.
Well, that's fine. I can consider an affidavit, but you said you have pictures of that, but
I had pictures of it. I haven't located, like I said, it's not on this phone or on my iPad. Pictures are magically disappearing nowadays. When you go over your limits, they've changed the limits and
Yeah.
everything. I'm just trying to do the best I can.
I know
want to
you
do
are.
what's right.
I know, and
I
it's-
know the gentleman already talked to me about coming in and possibly doing that. Unfortunately, the last 3 weeks I've been tied up with my mother-in-law in the hospital. She passed away, so we've been out of pocket for the last probably month and a half with her and going through the funeral and everything. So I understand something has to be done, that I can go in there and fill out the papers and they'll
for the financial assistance. Yeah, a lot of
and
people
stuff.
are using that now. I mean, most people are.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get out of that because it
I don't blame
wasn't
you.
my fault, even
I don't blame you.
Even though I understand it's 40 years old, but that doesn't mean it should be destroying. The reason it had all that water in it for so many years was because the one north of me was completely closed, where I know mine wasn't because it was always flowing because I dug it out. But that's all I'm trying to say. But
I
the
know.
whole road needs to be fixed. It's ridiculous. That I've lived for 42 years there and watched how everything goes, because he can attest, I walk up and down every day with my dog on the road, and my dog before this dog and my dog before that dog. So I know how the water's been running ever since I've lived
Let me
there.
just ask, if hypothetically, let's say nobody's admitting anything, but hypothetically, if the county truck did what this gentleman said, but for that, would the culvert still have to be replaced?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is. You can tell by the picture that's up there now. It's done. If the county truck had done that and something was reported at that time,
I did report it to the supervisor before you. He came out and looked at it. And
3 years ago, at the time of the incident.
That's been probably 4 to 5 when that happened.
Okay.
Or 6 maybe, I'm not sure. But like I said, my memory is not as good as it used to be.
I don't
Neither is
want to
mine.
rudely interject, but I
Go
feel
ahead.
like that whole line of argument is irrelevant. At the end of the day, it's the homeowner's responsibility to maintain the culvert. If there was some kind of fault or any kind of allegation that there was a county truck that did that, that would be something I feel like would be subrogated outside of this.
Well, I would have only pursued it if I would have known there was a hole in the middle. That would have made a big difference. But he came out there, looked at it. I talked to him, and I said,
Right,
I have no
right, but
problem.
that has not-
This is on the edge of it. It's not. That's not what was stopping.
Right,
it.
but what the fault has nothing to do with why we're here. We're here because the culvert's failed and it needs to be
I don't
replaced.
agree with that. Why would I agree with that?
That's
All
what
right,
we're here for.
all right, all right. I have to weigh the evidence and what I have before me today. And based on the fact that that is an awfully old culvert, it's my belief that it would fail one way or the other. And you're going to have to figure a way to replace it under the county code. It's your responsibility. And there is a financial program where you can work and get that done, and then you're off the hook. You know, I mean, you'll have to pay it. It'll come out of your taxes, but
Yeah, no
it'll
problem.
get done.
I'll do that then. But
No,
I'm just.
I know.
I was trying
And
to
I know
mediate
you-
that because
I understand.
I'm an honest man.
I believe you are.
And I try to take care.
But I'm
I
looking
brought
at what
him
I
down
have.
there and showed him where the problem was.
But I'm looking at,
You
but
know?
my feeling is that I still think, just as a layman, but this thing is old. It would
It
go.
is. There's no
It
doubt.
would go.
I'm
rega-
old, but I'm still functional.
Yeah, I would
Barely,
go.
but I'm functional.
Yeah, I would go. I would say this would go. All right.
Okay, we'll do that, and I'll go up there. And
Yeah,
fill out
see
the
what you can
paperwork.
do. All right. You got to get in there. I'll give you a little time to do this, and we'll go from there. In reference to case number 2603-116-828, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I determine the violation in fact did occur, and the alleged violator committed the violation. An order of enforcement is warranted. If the order of enforcement is not complied with by July 15th, 2026, a fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. Please take notice that on the first Wednesday of the month after the date given for compliance at 9 a.m., or soon thereafter, as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violation is not abated by the given compliance date. All right, sir? So
Okay.
get with them, get on their financial
Okay.
package, and then you get the...
How do I get information on that? You said it's on the.
I'll give you somebody a contact to
All
get in
right.
touch with.
Thank you.
And as long as you, yeah, and you just get, if you get a permit,
Yeah. I'll do it.
you won't have to come back and there'll be no fine or anything.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate
Good
your
luck.
time.
Yeah, no.
That woman earlier, God, what a godsend.
Yeah. I mean, I've been here a long time, and that's one of the
That is the
one of the
greatest thing.
best stories I've heard
Absolutely
sitting up
my
here
best
on the.
story I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Take care.
Thank you. You doing all right? Yeah. I just don't remember.
Case number 2602-116707. Location of violation 805 North Lake Drive, C, Fort Pierce, Florida. Property owner Richard and Ann T. Capelli, and this case has been abated. Last but not least, case number 2603-116823, location of violation 10701, South Ocean Drive, 909 in Jensen Beach. The property owner is Jeremy Spears. Is Jeremy here?
Yes, sir.
Hi, well, raise your hand, tell me your name, address, and that gentleman who's with you, his name and address if he's going to talk, and be sworn in.
Just speak into the microphone, please.
I'm Jeremy Spears, address 10701 South Ocean Drive, Unit 909.
Will you be speaking as well?
Yes, ma'am.
This is my contractor,
Name and
Robert.
address, please.
Robert Zerlin, 500 Northwest 94th, Miami, Florida 33150.
Both please raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, you've been sitting through this whole hearing, and we appreciate that. Let's hear from the investigating officer, Ms. Moyes.
For the record, I am submitting a copy of the property appraiser's record card photo dated September 27, 2021, which shows what the mobile home previously looked like. 3 photos taken by County Inspector Paul DeSentence, dated March 11, 2026. 4 photos taken by County Code Enforcement Officer Brian Alves, dated March 11, 2026, and 3 photos dated May 4, 2026. The property located at 10701 South Ocean Drive, Unit 909, was found in violation for Section 11.05.01 Building and Sign Permits to please obtain a permit for the renovations being done to the interior and exterior of the mobile home. A notice of violation was issued on March 11, 2026, with a correction date of March 25, 2026. After getting no compliance, a notice to appear was issued on April 6, 2026 for the May 6, 2026 special magistrate meeting. In addition, a notice to appear was issued and posted on the property on April 14, 2026. Permit number PNRL-2603-00030 was filed on March 25, 2026 for the stucco work done to the exterior, that's getting ready to be done to the exterior of the mobile home. That permit is still in review. A permit is still required for the interior work. I have had contact with the owner and the contractor. As of May 6, 2026, the property remains in violation.
All right, please, tell me what's going on. It seems like you're taking steps to alleviate the situation.
Correct. When we first ordered the windows, they said it was like-for-like windows. They were PG Impact that we took out. We put PGT Impact back. There were 3 windows in the back that were cracked, so they were like-for-like windows. They're saying that the property appraiser doesn't show that. The prior person might have done it. I don't know. We're waiting on plans from the engineer. On the 21st, we retained the engineer, but obviously he told me 30 days. Yeah. And on the 27th of April, they told us it was 14 days left and they would have the plans ready and we would file the general alterations permit.
Yeah.
For the mobile home. But there's also 57 other mobile homes in that area that do not have stucco permits.
Yeah.
57. Within
I
3
can't
blocks.
address that. All I can do is address what's here. How did this, Ms. Moyes, how did this case come to your attention?
One of our county inspectors, Inspector Paul DeSentence, happened to be in the area and noticed that the work was being done, and there were no permits in our system for it.
There's no interior alterations that's being done. There was a wall that had mold on it that is not even drywalled. It's just a thin, tiny piece of board that goes over it. And when I had originally called and I spoke to, I think his name is Daniel Williams, he said we had to put drywall back, but you can't put drywall back because it's foam. How are you going to put drywall on top of foam? There's no insulation behind it. It's just foam. It's a foam-filled wall. And
okay.
Nobody has gone inside. It's all pictures from the outside. Then he said something about the electrical. There's no electrical that's been replaced. You know, nobody's been inside the home. They've only taken pictures from the window.
Well,
they're more than welcome to come out.
Will you allow them
Yeah,
to come out
absolutely.
and take a look at everything?
Absolutely, because
that needs to be done, Ms. Moyes.
Mr. Williams stated that the post, if you go back to the one picture with the post inside that holds up the roof, he said that was moved. That can't be moved. It's a load bearing. If you take that out, the roof falls in. It's a double wide that's connected together with bolts. It's through bolted at the top.
Okay, so you put in a permit, you filed for a permit for a.
I have to cancel that permit because Mr. Williams said that it's better to just do the general alterations permit because it will cover the wide scope of work for the plans that we're going to submit.
And you've got
Right,
an
it has to be.
engineer working on that.
Yeah, it would have to be an alteration permit because of the change from the lap siding to the stucco siding.
Okay. And the engineer's telling you what again?
We should have them back within a week and a half.
Okay. So we'll give you a little time. We'll table this matter, see how you're doing, and then hopefully you'll have the permits and you wouldn't even have to come back.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Let's do that. I think in this case, do you
Will
have any
they send
objection?
somebody out? Because they said that 3 times already. Mr. Williams said that they were going to send somebody out, and they never sent anybody out. And I've showed up
The
there
county-
waiting. And Miami's very far.
Yeah.
You know.
We need to have somebody out there looking. I mean, if we, I'd
Get
like
in
to see
touch with
pictures from
Merlandi.
the
I'll go out there
inside.
myself. I don't believe that a plans examiner would have set up a visit with an inspector, but that's besides the point. I'll go out there myself.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Jurihan.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Yeah, do that and see what we can do. It seems like they want to get this done, get it done right.
do.
So, yeah, okay.
I'm ready.
Tell you what we're gonna do, Evan. Give you a little time here. All right, 60 days we can do, I think, on this right now, and then see what the progress is. All right, in reference to case 2603-116-823, I'm going to continue this case to the magistrate hearing on July 1st, 2026. Okay. All right?
Thank you.
And then Mr. Jernigan will...
What was it again, Mr. Green?
July 1st meeting.
Continue?
Continue, yeah. Okay, I believe that concludes our violation hearings. I think there was one case, I believe, that defaulted. Let me, right, anybody correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, and now, let me read it in the record. Case number 2602-116700, 609 Myrtle Drive in Fort Pierce. That's the location, and the property owner, John E. and Maria E. Coravibrius. Did you sound the halls, please, on that? Make sure the Coravibriuses are not here, hanging out somewhere. It's a legal formality, but we do it at the courthouse, you do it here. All right, the halls have been sounded? Please, say it in the record there, Mr. Morera, that the halls have been sounded. We got it?
Yes, Your Majesty, it has.
All right, thank you. All right. In reference to the case that I read into the record, I enter an order finding that these violators are in default as they did not appear to protest the violations against them. I adopt the recommendations of staff as set forth on the agenda. That's it. We have nothing else on the agenda. I see nothing for rehearing or reconsideration. No repeat violations, nothing to refer to the Board of County Commissioners. No fine reduction hearings. Other business? None. And does the staff have anything else to bring before us today?
No, sir.
If not, then why don't we adjourn this thing at 11:26?
Thank you.
Thank you.